Chapter 37. Bombers. The pub was called the Billy Goat and Christina wailed, "Not another goat!" They ordered beers and hot stew. The room was warm with a fire crackling in the hearth, cozy behind the blackout curtains. A group of airmen came in, talking loudly. They glanced over. "You from around here, mate?" One with a thick Australian accent asked Danny. "No, I'm on leave visiting my fiancée. I'm fighter command. You guys?" They sat down close by. "Bomber command. We fly Halifaxes, stationed 2 towns away, but this place has the best food around." Introductions were made. 3 of them were British, then Ralph the Australian and 2 South Africans, Albert, Nell, and a red-haired boy they called Kangaroo. Ralph was very taken with Christina, but she had her eyes on the tall, blonde, blue-eyed Albert. Danny and Eleanor withdrew a bit from the conversation. "Where are you staying tonight?" "I was going to stay here in the village, but Mrs. Hill said I could crash on the couch. I think I'll do that. It gives us a bit more time together. By the way, you have off tomorrow," I begged her, saying we are going house hunting. She wasn't too happy, mumbled something about being stuck with Christina if I steal you from her, but she relented. "I don't think she likes your friend. The thing is, our Christina walks with a swing in her hips and her jerseys sit a bit tight in places, so Pete the pervert stares the whole day, and Aggie notices." "Is he a problem, darling?" She shook her head. "No, not really. He barely ever speaks to us, and honestly the worst he does is just stare. We joke around about it, but I feel a bit sorry for Aggie. It can't be fun." "She is his wife, right? Last you couldn't decide if they're married or siblings." "She has to be his wife, otherwise it puts a whole different spin on the situation." She laughed. "Now we're being awful. Christina's having a good time. I think she's used to going out a lot." She'd singled out the blonde South African and was talking earnestly to him. He looked up over Christina's head and straight into Eleanor's eyes, holding them with his gaze. She looked away quickly, frowned. "What was that?" Danny half smiled with raised eyebrows. "I don't know. That was strange." Danny stretched lazily, flexing his shoulders. "I think he fancies you, darling, instead of your friend." He thickened his southern drawl. "I don't blame the man. He's got good taste, then. But I am as tired and as lazy as a cat in the sun now, and I think we need to go pry your friend loose and head back. I'd like to get an early start tomorrow." Danny went to the bar to pay, and Eleanor walked over to fetch Christina. She complained a bit that it was too early, greeted Albert with a friendly hug. Then she babbled the whole way back to the farm. "I told him to come drop in when he has a chance. He's really interested in goats. They have something called Angora goats in South Africa, where he's from. They make mohair from them. But he's never seen a dairy goat stud. It would be lovely if he would come visit. He's such a nice guy, too, the strong, silent type. I wonder if he shot a lion if he lives in Africa." Danny laughed. "I wouldn't think so. It's not like they roam the streets there. It sounds like it's pretty domesticated these days. The Wild West days are mostly over nearly everywhere." They were up very early the next morning. It was wonderful to be able to wear a dress, put makeup on, and not spend the day in muck. They went to look at a house, but Danny was disappointed in it. It needs so much fixing up. I mean, the rent is so good. But I just don't have the time to spend on repairs, and I won't have you struggle with it if I'm not there. We have to find something in better shape. She would have moved into a doghouse with him if he'd asked. But he had a picture of something set in his mind. There was no getting by that. The day went by too soon. The evening brought a surprise. It didn't rain for a change, and something about their joy to be together rubbed off on the old couple. Pete built a bonfire in the weedy backyard. "Fetch your guitar, Pete. Play for us." His wife patted his shoulder. He did, mumbling, "My fingers don't want to anymore. Too many cold mornings out milking." He played a couple of songs a little stumblingly, then put it down, cracking his knuckles. Danny reached out. "May I, please?" Eleanor looked at him, surprised. She hadn't known he could play. He stroked the glowing wood gently, adjusted the tuning a bit. He looked up at her. The firelight was in his eyes as she met them, and her heart squeezed. Then he bent his head to the music, and his brown forelock fell over his eyes. The chords slipped from under his fingers. He met her eyes again, sang softly, the American accent a little strange on the melancholic Scottish words. "Oh, you take the high road, and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before you. But me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond." It rained again during the night. He left very early the next morning. It was Sunday, 15 September, 1940.